I can tell you that sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get this podcast going. And tonight is one of those nights where we're just happy we're here. And we're very happy to be here. I'm Rob Akinpour. This is the A Game. To my left is an old friend who I haven't seen. And yeah, I can't believe we were just talking about this. It's been over 20 years.
At least.
Yeah, it's probably been more like 23. I can't believe I'm saying that. But we were sitting there on a beach in Orly Beach, New Jersey. He had just The story goes, Doug MacMillan of the Connells has been very supportive in the past of my old radio station, FM 106.3 WHDG on the Jersey Shore.
You were very supportive of us, so thank you.
Thank you for
favor there. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if I got a photo number 2, this is a great shot of the concert they played for us. We did an event called Surf Stock, and And Surf Stock became this phenomenon on the Jersey Shore. You played it more than once, Doug. So for that, we say thank you so much. But it looked like you guys genuinely just loved the vibe of it. Kind of just, here's the stage, here's the Atlantic Ocean, and here's all these people who are just having such a great time. And
here's Joan Jett.
Yeah, you remember that. That's right. Joan was our host that year, one year you came.
This is too great. Yeah, I was right on the beach. What was the name of that club? Somebody's
Joey Harrison Surf Club.
Joey Harrison. I always get the names confused. Yeah, Joey Harrison Surf Club. Yeah, I remember very well somehow.
Yeah, and I will tell you that Doug and I do have an interesting history. And before we even get into any of you, I got to share this. This is probably my favorite Doug MacMillan story of the Connells.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is not. I can tell it. It's clean, but it kind of sums up our relationship a little bit. You're playing at Asbury Park. This has to be probably mid '90s. Band's had success with the Ring album. And hadn't seen you in a while. Get a hug from you. We're talking. You see that I'm drinking a Coca-Cola in my hand. You slapped the Coca-Cola out of my hand, and you just look at me and go, "Hey, yeah." He goes, "Hey, Rob, I thought you were my friend. I knew what was coming." So I'm being brought backstage, and just to crack the rest of the bandmates up, I get on my knees, and I'm literally going, "No, Uncle Doug, not the Jaeger, anything but the Jaeger, Uncle Doug."
Uncle Doug. I'm the bad uncle.
Yes, you were.
That would be me.
Look.
I said, what's wrong with this picture? That's a Coca-Cola. What the hell's going on?
That's exactly what you were thinking at that point.
I said?
Yeah, pretty much. You were just like going, dude, we drink together. There's no way there should be a Coke in your hand at this moment. What is going on with you?
I don't care if you're working or not. I'm working too,
You know, that's a good point. I was working. I was hosting. By the end of the night, I was not in good shape. But that's what I get for hanging out with Doug MacMillan. I'm telling you. Those were the days, man.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
It's like you're one night on the road, and that's what happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, just thank you. There's so many great times, so many great things you did for the radio station. We were proud to support you guys. I mean, and I'm very happy to talk about Steadman's Wake. It took 20 years to get a new album out of you guys. I mean, obviously a lot's happened. I mean, let's start with the fact that you became a dad. Let's start there.
Yeah. Well, that was on an agenda that I was not fully aware of, but yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I knew that was coming, but no, we made in 2000 we made a record,
right,
called Old School Dropouts, and really what it was, we were making demos for what would have been our last record for TVT Records,
right.
And they said they let us go free range. They dropped us. So anyways, but so we just took these. They were cool, like 4-track demos that sounded pretty good. Sounded really good. I mean, they were really kind of old. It was an old, no pun intended. There was an old school kind of recording process going on.
Right.
But that was the year 2000. We didn't know how to sell a record over the internet.
Sure.
We barely knew how to work the thing. so we just I think it was, I want to say it was probably both Mike and David, but I do recall having a couple of conversations with David. This is like 6 plus years ago, saying, man, there's some good songs on that record we made. Nobody really heard it. And and he was talking about how certain songs we should re-record because they're our songs. They didn't belong, they weren't affiliated with any record label. And that's kind of how that started. So we got to re-record, I shouldn't have the exact number, but of a handful of those songs that were on that prior release. And boy, am I glad we did that. I mean, we first thing we did is we went over to Mitch Easter's studio.
Nice. And he's been so supportive of you guys over the years. For God's sake,
he's supportive of the entire country of U.S. of the music and the whole. I mean, he's the guy.
Well said. Well said.
Certainly in the Southeast, but he's got a new. I say new. It's not new anymore. But if you walked in the place, it's like such a scientifically, acoustically designed room with specific materials and no right angle, all that stuff that you expect to see. And it was just, God, man, I love him. He's so funny. We had a laugh. We basically did basic tracks there. So I was just sort of singing along and just having fun. And that was like, when we got done with those sessions, like, okay, we're really doing this, we're doing this thing. And it was good to have him do those basics. And then we did everything else in Durham, and we just took our time, obviously. But the thing that, like, I would jump in the car with Mike Connell, and we'd drive over to Durham to do vocals or whatever. And we would just talk about how we don't have anybody breathing down our necks.
Right.
There's no deadline, because there's not a lot, but there's a good number of songs on prior records that just didn't really turn out the way we would have liked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it just has to do more with it. It's really nobody's fault. It's just that it's a situation where you're under the gun, and it's like, you're done, you guys, get out of here. So this way we could do it how we wanted to, and I mean, I really feel like we did. I mean, everybody's. I mean, at least in the band for sure, is really happy with it. So that's sort of the history of how that came about. And yeah, we really wasn't anybody breathing down our neck, because it did take a while.
Yeah, it did take a little bit of a while, but I mean, the payoff is not only is it out, it's been out since the fall. You have a lyrics video, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes, and you're back on the road. You recently just played through New York and Philadelphia. What's it like to feel like, after all this time, like, wow, okay, we're back on stage, we're doing shows. You actually did I saw one on Facebook Live that you were doing a show in the Carolinas that kind of got this whole thing started. So does it feel good? Yeah, does it feel good to be back and just doing it in front of an audience again?
Yeah, we were playing. We would play every so often.
Right.
Get it. Whether it was some kind of event, like a festival thing, or like a college or just a club that we like, but we weren't, by no means were we doing it like, a lot of bands can do it a couple of times a month on the weekends, and we weren't doing it nearly that often. But again, some guys had an infant, and one guy's got a teenager.
Yeah, of course. And that's sort of there's the new element of the Connells, where everybody's like, okay, we have to juggle our family lives to try to make this work.
That's a whole nother ball of wax right there.
but that's gotta be surreal to you, Doug. Because again, when we hung out in the 90s, it was like, okay, we're single guys having fun, doing some crazy shit, to say the least. And then to suddenly be like, okay, now here we are in the 21st century, married, children, and everybody's settled in, everybody seems to be happy in their lives, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this again. All right. Oh no.
Psyched.
And
I was so psyched to sit down and discuss this. We went to Mike's house and said, let's make a record. And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And we had more than enough material, but we really were like firmly wanted to get like a song like Helium, Hello Walter, Universal Blue. These are the songs that were on that prior release from 20, a little over 20 years ago,
right? And
give them a proper, give them the recording they needed. With nothing wrong with the prior recordings, they just weren't. They were cool sounding, for like kind of 4-track recordings, and anyways. So, but it's a lot of it's still the same. You just sit in a van for 8 hours.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's sort of like it's turn back the clock time. When we got started, we were sitting in a van for 8 hours. Now, how many years later, we're still sitting in a van for 8 hours? What?
And I talked to a woman. She's a student at UNC, and she was doing a paper. She was writing an article to hopefully be published in a proper, well-known music type magazine, and she was about Spotify.
Okay.
And anyways, long story short is that I was saying, it's really, from what I can tell, people are kind of still doing the same thing we did. our way of touring was we couldn't have done it without stations like WHTG, but also college radio. It was a network. College radio enabled us to go to all these towns, send the record ahead, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so in many ways that basic sort of aspect of going places to play is not that different.
Right.
Of course, seeing people you haven't seen in 20 years takes a second to adjust.
It's like going, wait a minute, I do recognize you somewhat.
Who are you? I know you.
I think it's funny. I think with me, if you didn't hear my voice, you'd be like, well, you do look good. But it's like going, yeah, I had hair the last time you saw me.
I think I remember something about that. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I lost hair. He's growing it on his face, you bastard. Really? Come on.
I haven't shaved in 20 years. Literally. I'm thinking about doing it soon, too. But I'm afraid to find what's underneath.
No. Stick with it. It's a good look. I like it.
Okay.
By the way, hanging out.
Yeah, it's a good question because it is a little like a shock, not culture shock, but it's like, but then you just kind of fall right back into it.
Sure.
It's the same, sound check and and everything kind of, is the same. Different venues, nice new venues like the Brooklyn Bowl venues are really nice. I mean, those are tight run ships, as they say. Those guys know what they're doing. I hope I was joking around. We played the one in. So here's what we've done. We played the one in Nashville. Do you know the venue I'm talking about?
Yes,
right?
I do indeed.
Played the one in Nashville. That's the biggest one I've seen. And then that was in September, I think. And then we played the other night in Brooklyn and the original Brooklyn Bowl. Then we went to Philly and played the new one that they built in November in Philly. So all we have now left is Las Vegas. And I was talking about that. I was like, I'm not kidding. We need to go to Las Vegas, if we're going to do this right. So. But those are nice venues. Yeah.
I would say Vegas, Jersey Shore will have to be hit at some point for sure.
Oh, no, that's way before Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did talk to somebody about I forget who I was talking to, but we were, trying to figure out where, what, I guess the Stone Pony is still there.
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
And then you told me there was a place what was the Fast Lane is now?
The Fast Lane is no longer there, but Asbury Lanes, which you do remember, the bowling alley sort of got that Brooklyn Bowl feel to it. You have 8 lanes, you have a diner, and you have a big stage. So if you're into that,
I like it. And we've hit some of the places we played that are still around.
Yeah.
And like went to Athens and Atlanta and. We're going to be going to Florida at the beginning of it. God, it's coming up, beginning of April. So we're doing like these long weekends. We played Brooklyn on a Thursday. What's today? A week ago Thursday, I guess. 2 weeks ago Thursday. This comes through. Yeah. And then we had Friday off, and then we had Saturday. We played in Philadelphia. I was like, God, I'm glad we had that day off.
You're getting older when you're going, the day off.
Wait, it's only 2 shows. What are you talking about?
Hey, look, we're not kids anymore. Sorry.
I know. I mean, I need to go soak my feet. Yeah.
This is Doug MacMillan of the Connells here on the A Game. You're going to relax for a minute, but let me get photo number 9 up here because this is the album that is now available through Apple Music and Amazon Music. It is Steadman's Wake. We have the video for the song Steadman's Wake that we're going to fire up right now. It's a lyrics video. Yeah. So we get to relax for a few minutes, enjoy the great new song. If you like it, go get the download. You're not going to be disappointed. And after the video, I got more things to talk about with Doug, including the success they had in Europe so many years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I got we got at least 1 or 2 more stories to get into. Trust me on that.
There's plenty of those.
I know that. Here's the brand new song. Once again from the Connells. This is Steadman's Wake.
Showed up at Steadman's Wake. I call it my first mistake. They peddled the stuff for pain. Now it's a steady rain. in Charlottesville. You make of it what you will. And now I'm just running fast. These fine people with baseball bats. I never knew anything. Now I know, I know, I know. I'm calling on Christ the King. Now I know, I know, I know. I never knew this before. Now I know, I know, I know. I'm learning a whole lot more.
Powerful song and brand new from the Connells here on the A Game. The voice you're hearing and singing there, of course, Doug MacMillan, the lead voice of the Connells, and very happy to have him here. Best of luck with
good.
Yeah, it sounded
good through my
really
phone.
good. I mean, that song's powerful.
Thanks.
It's
I hadn't heard it like that. You usually listen to it in different formats of stereo, and it was cranked, man.
yeah, it really did. I mean, bravo to you guys. I mean, I hope more people download the song, please. It's got a great message to it as well, on top of being just a great damn song.
Thanks, man. It's nice. I appreciate that, Rob.
There's an interesting road that you're going down right now, because if I can get photo number 7, I'm going to put this up, because this year will be the 35th anniversary. I can't believe I'm saying that. 35th anniversary of Boylan Heights, which you mentioned Scotty's Lament. That was really the first song that most people really learned about the Connells. So, I mean, that puts it in a crazy perspective, because I know Connells fans from seeing you guys play over the years. Scotty's Lament plays, all the fans go nuts. They just love that song. It was sort of that, the coming out of the Connells beyond the Carolinas. That was the first moment.
That was, I think I mentioned that before. Right? We played, we had, I guess we hadn't really properly started to do actual maybe tours yet, where you go away for like 3 weeks or a month or whatever.
Sure.
But we'd never played like around Asbury Park. And so we played at the Green Parrot in Neptune, New Jersey.
Again, it was such a legendary venue. And I know the early days of WHTG was very involved in it. That was Mike Marone, Rich Robinson, Loretta Windus, all those great people. Absolutely.
That's why we were there, because you guys were playing. I guess you must have been playing Scotty's Lament.
Absolutely were,
And I was saying, during that time, 1987, around 88, we're mostly in the Southeast, maybe kind of, we weren't quite getting past the Mississippi, maybe not past the Mississippi River yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
I'm not good with the time stuff. I can tell you a story. I just can't tell you when it happened. But that's me. But anyway, so we go to the Green Parrot. We might have come by the radio. I mean, that was, it was clear that we needed to go there. But it was interesting because we had, very collegiate sort of looking crowds we have in clubs, or we used to play a lot of fraternity parties back in the good old days, because they paid us.
Right.
And, and,
there you go.
I mean, there was, that sometimes those gigs would allow you to actually go another week, go further, on a trip.
Right.
Because you had a little more gas money. But, so we would do those kind of parties. We had, in the beginning, we had we maybe had 15 songs. I would say that's probably a stretch. And we had to play 3 sets.
Oh no.
So we're like flip-flopping the song. We're playing the same damn songs, and they're drinking. They don't know. And we're a new band, so they kind of all sound like it sounds like all of us,
Yeah, I get you.
And then we throw out what do we do? Like one night, Mike started playing that riff from Johnny B. Good, that kind of stuff, just to be sure that we played long enough. Anyway, so yeah, more of a like college type boogie. And then we go to the Green Parrot, and I'm noticing like there's a different kind of like there's a like what I would consider to be a kind of a rock and roll looking crowd. Like
Yes.
people who go see all kinds of bands, I
Mhm.
assume. And I was like, and there was a lot of people there, that which first shocked me. I was like, and then we started playing. I guess it was like Scotty's Lament somewhere towards the beginning of the set.
Sure.
And man, everybody was singing. They knew the words.
Mhm.
I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, are there cue cards? How do they know? How do they know this? And it, a guy who looked like he just got off a Harley was like, I love that song. And I was like, man, thank you. So that was like an eye-opening. That was very eye-opening for us. And also it became a place that we always would go back to. And I'm pretty sure we'll be going back there sooner than later.
Look forward to that.
Whoever will have us, because I love that part of most certainly of the country, but the Northeast. I love Asbury. I love it there.
You mentioned the Green Parrot. I got to share this with you. This came in on Facebook from Mike Marone, who was involved in the station back then. And he goes,
yeah, that name sounds familiar. Yeah.
He writes, somewhere in my archives is a photo and or video of Doug when they first played the Green Parrot during our after hour celebration, where I remember he was on the bar. Everything else is a little hazy. Why does that not shock me that somehow involving you gets a little hazy? Because I know this from experience myself.
Well, I mean, I couldn't see everyone very well, so I figure I should get up on the bar to get a better view.
Of course.
That's what was going on. I don't know what it's like it didn't take me long after doing like real tours that we're in a bar every night.
Yeah. Indeed.
The only job I know of where you go to work and they provide you with beer.
Yeah. I found that
amazing. I was like, it's a pretty good gig.
Why do you think I DJ'd in all those clubs as long as I did, my friend? Please, come on. That was the perks.
But it's like, and then I was telling my daughter last night, I was telling her how when we'd go on one of these longer, when I say we couldn't make it last, we tried. The longest we ever went was 6 weeks, which is pitiful, really. But the wheels are flying off the apple cart. We weren't going to make it much longer after 6 weeks. But those month-long tours, I'd go to whatever town and see somebody I knew from the last time we were there, and they'd ask me, "Where were you last night?" And I'd go, and I'd have to stop. I could tell you where I was 2 nights ago. For some reason, I had this block.
Wow.
And it would take, because you just get fried,
Yeah. I get you.
Travel at night, sometimes we'd get one hotel room just so people can take a shower and just go. You just got to keep going.
Right.
And so I started having unless the dementia setting in, what's going on?
Too young for that, my friend. Come on now.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping that was the case. That wasn't it. Yeah. It's just one of those weird things that happen with that very unstable lifestyle.
Well, I hate this.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And I think the height of the fun, and this is where the celebration next year gets interesting. I'm going to put up CJ photo number 8. This is the cover to the album that it was literally 2+ years of your life. Ring comes out in 93, but it was like 94 and 95 where all of a sudden overseas, the song exploded to the point where in a dozen countries, you hit the top 10. You went number 1 in Norway and Sweden. The video, which I thought was such a great concept for the song.
Mark Pellington. Yeah, he directed that.
Mark,
we're trying to get him to do something with us for this record.
Oh,
he's
that
busy,
would be great.
But we're going to get him. Yeah, he's an old friend.
If you haven't seen the video, go see it. It basically marks a reunion, and they used real people from one of the high schools in the area that you grew up in. And then you guys only show up in that last photo, but you kind of...
Thank God. About the video. You don't have to be in the damn thing very much.
But I mean, the concept... but I understand what you mean, Doug. I know, because I know you, I understand that, but... The concept was so good. I mean, it's still, and here it is how many years later, and and I can't believe I'm saying this, and I think it's a tribute to the song. On YouTube, it's approaching 30 million views. I mean,
is that right?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
I keep hearing these numbers. It's hard to relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like,
but that's a number that has to be hard to relate when I say 30 million, and you kind of go,
yeah. 30 I can relate to.
But 30 million? What? But I mean,
it was weird. We had done what we had always done, which was release a record and tour basically, around the country.
Right.
Maybe go up into Vancouver or Toronto, but was about it as far as going out of the States.
But if I can interject, this is the
Yeah,
question
please
I've
do.
never
Yeah.
had the chance to ask. How did this song explode overseas? What was the force that kind of made that happen?
It's a really interesting story. I mean, at first I just thought, well, first of all, we were kind of like gearing down and starting to talk about, should we start working on another record? You
Right,
know,
because the
we had done,
the
you
album
know,
had been
what
out
we do.
nearly 2 years at that point when it finally hit in Europe, right? It was
So what
yeah.
happened was we started you know, our record label, and most record labels do this, if they're just if they're a domestic label, they'll license albums to separate record companies in maybe a given country.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you get one of the big companies who like covers, Western Europe or whatever. Anyways, we started getting these faxes, in our manager Ed's office, showing our chart position 74, 75 in parts of Germany, like in the top 10, top 20. And I was like, this is a joke. Somebody sent this. My friend from Boston sent it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't,
right. You're not believing it at all. No,
I'm not buying it.
Right.
I'm not buying it. So, and then sure enough, it becomes more and more clear that something's going on. And what happened was this. There are two guys from a record label called Intercord out of Stuttgart, Germany. Germany.
Stuttgart, yes.
They came, I don't know what year, probably 93, 94. They came to the CMJ event.
The College Music Journal event. Yeah. For those who don't know, back in the day was a big gathering. Huge.
So when it came, the New Music Seminar.
Yes. So if you were an alternative or a college band, that you had to go to this event. You had to, just to be seen and to have radio programmers basically listen to you and hopefully get more airplay. That was the whole idea of it.
And we'd play what we called the MIG, the most important. You guys got to play good tonight.
Yeah, no pressure. Really? Thanks a lot, label. Really.
Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, thanks for the most important gig ever. Yeah. But so these guys, I don't want to butcher their names, so I'm not going to try to tell you their names. But they work for this label. The biggest seller they had on that label in Stuttgart in Germany was Roger Whittaker. I don't know if you remember that. He's old Durham town.
Oh yeah! Oh my God!
Bearded South African gentleman. He really, really deep baritone. You've seen his records on like those. They used to have those 30-second spots for albums, like greatest hits of Roger. Anyways, so they came over and they went and met with the head of TVT Records and wanted to license Ring, and they specifically. These two guys specifically wanted to release 74, 75 as a single because they heard something in that song that they thought would connect, at the very least, with the German music listeners.
Right.
Maybe something to do with like a chanting. I don't know. It was just the ballad. I don't know. That I never would have thought of that.
Right. You're probably going, out of all the songs in our catalog, this is not the one I would have thought.
And I love this song, and it was just a fun song to play. But anyway, so. And I think the guy said, well, that you can do that. But I mean, nothing really takes off in Europe until it takes off in the UK first, which granted was probably the standard way of thinking. And there's probably a lot of examples of that. But they insisted and so they licensed it. And sure enough, man, I mean, they're like, we got guys, get your passports together. We got to go over there and tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, this is not a joke. It's like, it's really
but at that point, you're still getting it together. Was there a moment when you got overseas where you just went, oh, this shit is definitely real? Was that defining moment?
There was a couple of those.
Okay.
The first one was, we played so many different types of venues. We'd play clubs the size of, the Stone Pony, or just like that size venue, like nothing, not maybe a few
good size, people. Not huge. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day we're at doing a festival, and we'd play, we'd play a set. We'd play like a 45-minute, 50-minute set, maybe longer.
Right.
And the audience is just like, they're like indifferent. They were just looking at us. It's like they had no idea what we were.
Oops.
They had no idea what we were doing up there. They were just waiting for somebody else. And then we played 74, 75, and they went completely nuts.
Wow.
Like they knew that song.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit. I don't know if I can cuss on here.
Yeah, you
But
can.
I was like, holy shit, what the hell? And I was looking at Mike, we were looking at each other.
Yeah.
They were singing along, kind of like at the Green Parrot, and
yeah, but multiply it by a few thousand people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And then so that started happening, and then a good bit later, maybe a couple months later, I remember going into a hotel room in Copenhagen, and Pete Potek, who plays the keyboards, and I turned the TV on, and there's the video for 74, 75.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I think this is really happening.
It's like going, oh my God.
So yeah, that was interesting. And I mean, they were nice enough to sit through the other, whatever, 15, 20 songs we'd had to play during the set, but they really wanted to hear that one. And it was like, I kept thinking about, this is, I love the band, the Association, Never My Love, Windy, all those like great pop songs.
Oh yeah,
from the 60s and 60s mostly. But I can't tell you who's any of the guys in the band. There's no like guy.
Right. It's like the definition of what it's a hit song, but you don't know anybody from the band who sang the song.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was just some guys. We were just some guys who played. I think one time somebody thought we were playing a cover of
your own song. Seriously?
They thought they didn't know we were the band. They thought we were some, like weird, a lot of weird stuff like that.
Oh my God.
But it really started. And then we did gigs. We played with America.
Oh, that must have been interesting. Although that's
with Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, that must have been a thrill. That had to have been like,
I mean, I love Fleetwood Mac. I really love Mick Fleetwood's drumming, and he was there. But Stevie and Lindsay weren't there.
Oh,
there was a woman, a blonde woman who had a great singing voice.
So Christy McVie was probably still in the band at that point.
This is the replacements for Stevie, and there was something going on where they didn't go on the tour.
Okay.
And so there was a guy who was kind of, with black hair, who's ripping playing guitar, and a woman who looked sort of like Stevie Nicks, who sort of sang like that. So it was an interesting vibe. But I mean, bands do what they got to do if they got dates to play, and and as we know, Lindsey Buckingham's not in Fleetwood Mac anymore.
No, he's not.
So that's the way that band goes. So yeah, stuff like that was really it was fun, but there was a lot of like, I think our bus driver was probably driving past the legal limit of hours per day. I mean, seriously, it was like, "Are you okay, man?" He's like, "I'm great." It was just, a lot of that, a lot of just get, play, go, keep going, because we had a lot of long drives. But yeah, I mean, we played. I was telling you about the 6-week tour we had. That was like clearly our limit.
Right.
The last night of that tour was in Dublin. And we played on a show called Kenny Live. It's like a David Letterman type. This is again like in the 1990s. I don't even know if people would know it. So we would like go to the TV station and do like the sound check thingy, camera block thing.
Yeah.
Then go to the Olympia and do sound check. Then go back to the TV thing and do the song. I think maybe I sang and the other guys. There was a lot of miming going on in Europe. They don't want you to bring all your gear in. They just want you to play along to the recording, which is fine. I don't care, whatever they want. Then we went back to the club. And that was 24 hours of Dublin, man. It was, whoo, boy.
How to experience a week in one day, basically.
Pretty much. And then you hear that joke, but like that's kind of what happened. And we got into the cab to go to the airport, and the guy says, "What's the name of your group?" And of course we say Connells. He's like, "No, it's Connells." And then he goes, "What's the name of your song?" And Mike says, 74, 75. You're the ones.
Yeah. Great reaction.
He said something like, "I ought to slow down and kick you out."
Oh no.
No, he was giving us.
Of course, giving you a hard time. Which is
I was laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh God, this is too." And Mike's like, "Which one of you wrote it?" "Oh, I did." I mean, it was. You couldn't ask for a better like departure, So
that was a great time in life, man.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's something else I never got. I've interviewed you several times when I was on HTG, but I never got into this because this was a little bit after. But CJ, if we can scroll down, I got to pull up. I got to try to find the photo now. I believe I'm talking about number 12. Now,
I'm afraid to see these photos.
no, this is a band. Yeah, it is number 12. And this is a photo of, well, Spinal Tap meets the Commitments. We're talking about the movie Bandwagon. Now, now here's the thing I did not know until recently. John Schultz, who's done a lot of movies, basically your acting career is owed to John Schultz, and John was a part of the Connells. I never knew that.
So is my singing career. Seriously,
really?
Because I grew up with John. John, we met when we were 3 or 4.
Okay, so childhood friends, yeah.
In our neighborhood, saw that this family was moving in nearby, and this kid who lived close to me came over to John's house looking to see if there's any kids his age moving in.
Okay.
This kid's name was Doug, but it wasn't me. It was another Doug.
Another Doug.
And he pointed to his mom. And of course, my friend John at age 4 was taking a nap. And the Doug kid says, well, I live over there. He points in the general direction, which is pretty much where, like the same direction I lived in. So when he came over to my house instead of the other Doug kid, and then there you had the rest is history. Yeah,
so technically it was the wrong Doug, but it turned into the right Doug.
I don't know if he could sing or act, but anyways.
But did you guys have any idea that this is what John was going to eventually become, like this film guy?
Well, that's what he was studying in school.
Oh, okay. So you did know.
And we used to talk about as kids, we want to be in a band together. I didn't know why. I didn't. Of course, I'm saying that, and he was the guy with the drum kit. I didn't have anything. I didn't know. I thought, well, punk rock, anybody can sing, so I'll try it.
What the hell?
Anyways, it's a long story, but I kept bugging him. I was like, I want to. They still don't have a singer. These brothers, these guys at Chapel Hill, and he's like, no, and he kind of like said, yeah. She said, well, you I was in school in Greenville, so it was a good drive for me to go up to Chapel Hill, and I went up there and. I didn't know that Mike, I thought they were guys getting together and writing songs together.
Okay.
That's how little I knew what was going on. So my first audition didn't go very well.
Oops.
I was like making stuff up, not knowing this one of the brothers had written, lyrics and he had written songs. And I was like, so I came back. John gave me a tape. I learned the songs. I came back. And remember driving in the rain with no windshield wipers with a towel. Like it was like, I'm determined to join this band.
Right.
3-hour drive to get to this audition, whatever. Wow. And then that summer of '84, we spent a lot of time in John's parents' basement, and things just kind of stopped. So long. I won't get too into the technical side of it, but I pretty much figured, well, John and I are out. These guys are going to go find somebody else. Right. That was the way I kind of, it wasn't a bad situation. He was like, we're going to take a little break. And about a month later, Mike calls me and says, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. Because I got this guy named Peel Wimberly. He's playing drums in the garage right now. Can you come over? And I went over. And it was like, no offense to John, but this was a different,
Peel was
a whole different thing.
An incredible talent.
And John went on to do what he was supposed to do, which is be a film director, and then that's where that Bandwagon. That's the Bandwagon movie has some aspects or elements of early Connells, and there's some composite characters, that kind of thing, and it was all shot in Raleigh. It was a classic indie, raised money from people in Raleigh, went to Sundance Film Festival. It was crazy, man. Art and life were kind of like meshing together there for a while.
Oh, it had to be. There you are playing the manager of a band, which was,
band.
Here's Kevin Corrigan, who at this point, I hope I get to interview him because he seems like a fascinating guy.
He's very, very smart, very funny guy, and has a very interesting perspective on things that I really appreciate. Yeah, he's a good guy. I haven't seen him in a while, but we were touring right when that movie was going to start filming, and I remember I flew, which is sort of crazy, but I flew from Charlotte to Raleigh, which is not. Oh, it's like a 20-minute flight.
Yeah.
And I remember asking the guy, "Can I get a beer?" He goes, "It's a 20-minute flight. Can I get 2 beers?" You know. He didn't give me any beer.
No, of course not.
Anyways, and I remember going to the location.
Right.
It was outside of Raleigh, and they had rented a van. I mean, it was just like, it was getting weird. I'm like, this is I just came off tour.
Right.
And now I'm getting into a van with this band with these guys who are supposed, whatever. And I was like, Jesus, this is bizarre. I mean, how much time can I spend in a vehicle? But anyways, it was fun. It was a trip.
And it led to really, anytime John had a movie, he found a part for you. I think the one that made me just turn my neck, because I had heard rumors about, okay, he's in this teen movie called You Drive Me Crazy.
Oh,
and I see this scene and I'm like going, what? And there you are. I mean,
I had the lab coat and everything. Yeah.
I mean, there you are, Mr. Science Teacher. Oh my God.
I remember my name was Mr. I forget it. But anyways, yeah, the scene was I had to get Adrian Grenier was in that movie.
Yeah, before, and this is pre-Entourage, by the way. Yes.
Yeah,
and Melissa Joan Hart was in the movie, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she was in it. She was busy. She was making a TV show, and I mean, the people who think actors have a cush life, I'm telling you, man, they're running around all over the place. But anyways, the scene was I had to tell the students that from here on out we're going to assign lockers alphabetically, because, and then I pull up into the frame a bong, because somebody had got, I found a bong in one of the kids' lockers. That was the idea. What I didn't know was that the prop guys had actually put real reefer.
Oh, hello.
They'd been hitting it. And I remember smelling it going, God damn, this is way before the legalization stuff.
Right.
And I looked at John, I was like, come here, smell this. And he was like, can we do that? And I was like, we did it, we're fine. But I thought I like the reality aspect.
Sure.
Was good.
No, and
that was nerve wracking. It's like they got these big giant lights that are, I don't know what they're called, but they're like on cranes outside on the second floor of this school to make it look like it's a sunshiny day when in fact it was raining. I was like, that's a lot of stuff being done for me to do my 2 little lines here. So you get nervous, but it was fine. It worked out okay. It's just funny. It's so bizarre.
It sounds like it's like you had fun doing it, but you were not like quote unquote bit by the acting bug where you wanted to just keep doing it. It was more like, hey, if John has a role for me, what the heck, I'll do it. That kind of thing.
I would have, if I had an opportunity to do that, I would have done it. I don't know how well I would have done it, but I would have given it a shot. They pay well. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's food you got nothing but, there's plenty of, but it's, there's the classic, there's the downtime of being on tour, but the downtime on that sort of like movie set location is like, it's you bring a book.
Right, there you go.
Bring a book. So, but it was fun to watch my buddy. I'm like, you don't know what the hell you're doing. He's like, shut up. It was good. It was good to have. And another friend of mine from Boston, a musician, wrote the music for that for Bandwagon and the score, I think, for the Drive Me Crazy.
That's crazy.
So we had it's good to have friends around.
Oh, absolutely.
It gets a little hairy. But yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up, because I have people who every once in a while are like, I think I saw you.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the funny part. I mean, it's like to dig into this and actually figure out that's how he got into acting. So the former guy, John Schultz, gets to live his passion, and he goes to Doug and says his friend, hey, look, I got a role for you, which leads from a Sundance nominated film to doing all the work that he's done. I mean, how many guys can sit there and say, I had a huge hit in Europe. I've been in a few movies. I've had a pretty damn good run. Thank you very much.
I was not. You wouldn't hear me complaining. I didn't have any problem. Well, that was fun. I worked for a period for 14 years at a credit union.
Oh wow,
a good one, North Carolina, and I worked in the phone calls. Anyways, this woman who worked there, who was probably in her 20s, walked up to my desk and said, I think I saw you in a movie. And I said, was I playing a science teacher? She goes, yeah. I said, yeah, that was me.
That was
She's like, what? And I was always, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, I got some kids at home. I have to work.
These things do.
They didn't like that.
No.
They I should be living in Los Angeles. Like, nah, it didn't work like that.
It doesn't, unfortunately.
So funny, man. I didn't see that coming,
Doug MacMillan from the Connells is here on the A Game. Okay, I usually wrap up with a thing called Random Shots. This is my take on, all right, being a stalker of Doug MacMillan on his social media and a few other things. So I've come up with about 3 or 4 just goofy questions. And I think I got to start with this one because I found this and I want to know if this is true or false. And looking at it, I think it's probably true. The band was once run out of town for vagrancy.
Yes, that's true.
Why am I not shocked? But what's the story here, Doug?
All right, so that's a classic period of like, when we first started traveling west and trying to tour around the country.
Okay.
Which takes about a month.
Yeah, right. 6 weeks max.
yeah. We didn't dream of 6 weeks back then. Once you get into West Texas, there's less and less college towns, and then you get into the desert part of the Southwest. It's
okay,
like there's a lot less towns. There's less places to play, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was around that time, and we were, I don't know what the routing was, but we must have played in the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and there was a big football game that weekend.
Okay,
and
so University of Michigan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a great, it was where Iggy Pop is from. I mean, my God, it's friggin' Ann Arbor. And very, very, very Chapel Hill type of boogie because it's a college town, small town. Anyways, so we were able to play our show, but we had like 3 or 4 days before we had to be anywhere else because we didn't have any dates booked for another few days. So we parked our van in a church parking lot.
Okay.
And for that weekend, there's so many people there for the football game. It didn't look unusual that there'd be a vehicle. There are all kinds of places where people were parking their RVs and so
right. So
but come Sunday night, everybody's split.
Right.
So what we did was it kind of worked in shifts. I think George and Peel and I took we stay up later at night, so we'll like let those guys sleep in the van during the earlier part of and then then come sleep later, whatever. Like we had some kind of system. Mm-hmm. And I remember, oh God, this is such a sort of sad sack story. I was trying to find something to do while waiting to go back to the van, and I didn't have any money, but I found an ATM.
Okay.
And my card would have worked. It did actually work in the ATM to show me I had just maybe 17 cents, not enough to get $10 to go into the bar and get 25-cent draft.
There you go.
I was like, God dang it, man. I was so close. This is before overdraft and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. Back in the day, you could get a beer for a quarter, kids. You could.
Back in the good old days. Yeah. Exactly. So anyways, luckily I didn't go into the bar because I was just walking down the sidewalk. I think I might have been with Peel and George was somewhere, and I see our van just barreling down the main street, and it pulls up, and the door opens. Like, get in!
Hey, look at the time! Time to go!
They're like, and what happened? And actually, John Schultz created a scene kind of like based on this actual event
in Bandwagon. Yeah,
where. Somebody called the cops and said, there's a van been sitting in this church parking lot for 3 days. We don't know. And so they came, and those other guys, Tom and Mike and David, were asleep. And this sheriff or cop comes up with the flashlight, seeing people asleep. He's like, what the hell is this? Bangs on the window. Anyways, long story short, he determined that, we didn't have any visible means of income. We played a gig, but he didn't care. But anyways, he said, once you get out of here while the getting's good, I mean, we could have, if he wanted to really mess with us, he could have charged us with vagrancy. But no, they just found us, and we left and just parked somewhere else and slept.
There you go. Thank you for sharing. Like I said, I can count on Doug MacMillan for great stories. That's what I love.
Oh, I mean, I wish, I still can't believe these things actually happen,
Yeah. Once you jot them down, the book will be a bestseller. Trust me on that one, bro.
We'll see. Yeah. I have to embellish a little.
Well,
but that is a true story. Yeah.
Cool.
That is
Being the band from North Carolina, I think of North Carolina. I think barbecue. I mean, come on. What's the best barbecue joint by you right now?
All right. Now, here's the big deal. Here's what you need to know.
Please.
There is a line drawn in the sand here in North Carolina between Eastern style North Carolina barbecue and Western style.
Interesting.
And the main difference is that Eastern style barbecue is the sauce is a vinegar based sauce.
Okay.
Right. There's no tomatoey. You know what I mean? There's no tomato anything.
Right. I get you completely.
Versus the red, I have friends who live in Winston-Salem. We're like, no, that vinegar, that East Carolina stuff sucks. And we get really heated debates about barbecue.
They really do. And that's what I've heard. They take barbecue seriously in the Carolinas. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of the reasons why there was no tomato base or any kind of sauce in the Eastern style version was because the Native Americans didn't eat tomatoes because they called them death apples.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Some dog ate a bad one, or a human, an older member of the family ate and got sick and died because he ate a bad tomato. So they just figured all tomatoes were. This is the story I heard. We're bad for you. So that's that. I'm going to stick to that story. It's probably somewhat factual, but death apples. I love that. Blood apples or death apples. I can't. One of the.
But it's interesting that it is it's that serious when it comes to barbecue.
Oh no, it's no joke. Yeah, it's no for real, man. And they get up very early in the morning to start cooking those pigs, man. Oh, it's so good. I love it. To you vegans and vegetarians, I'm sorry, but it's really good.
Nothing wrong with that. 2 more on the random shots. CJ, give me photo number 10. You got to explain this to me. Who is Captain Stickman?
Oh wow! I was thinking about this the other night. Yeah, it was a animated. I say short. It was an animated short film where I played the voice of Captain Stickman.
Yes.
And oh gosh, I'm so bad. I can't remember anybody's name, but the guy who created, produced, directed, drew the Stick People. Came to Raleigh and we recorded those lines of dialogue, dubbing or whatever you call it. And it was something that ideally would maybe show on, I don't want to say liquid television. Do you remember liquid television, liquid TV?
MTV had liquid television at one point. I remember that.
I think that was what yeah. They had some really cool stuff on there. There was a really funny speed racer parody called Fast Driver, which they really they nailed it. I highly recommend you find Fast Driver. It's really good. But that was just that was an acting gig. That's what that was.
There you go.
Stickman. Yeah.
There you go. That about sums it up. Okay, CJ, you can take the photo down now because I got one more to put
horrible.
up.
I can't remember anybody's name.
Hey, look, at least we got a little bit of a definition. As I'm up against time, I got one more I've got to put up. CJ, scroll up. I'm going to put this photo up and I'll explain it to you, Doug, because it has something to do with your social media. Pass up 10, up a little more. There it is, photo number 6. Now, on your social media, there's this great photo of Krispy Kreme, and the Doug part of the donuts is lit up. And I do know that Krispy Kreme is a North Carolina thing. So obviously it's up there because of the Doug. But when it comes to donuts,
Doug Nut. There for a while there, the H was gone, so it was just Doug Nuts.
Doug Nuts, that's right.
And I used it as my Facebook whatever thing. It's still my Facebook picture.
Yeah, it is, as a matter of fact. Yes.
And it's still, and the Krispy Kreme sign still says Doug.
Gotta love it. Well, I had to ask.
I mean, to go there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Krispy Kreme, North Carolina. You're from there. Come on,
Salem.
Winston-Salem. Thank you.
You can't get it. I mean, it's hard to get a better donut than that. And there's some other good donut places around here. But every once in a while, somebody will send me a picture of that sign. I'm like, good, they haven't fixed it yet. Yeah. Free publicity for me.
Publicity.
Yeah.
Gotta love that. All right, as I'm wrapping up, I gotta mention the album again. It's Steadman's Wake. It's now available through Apple Music and Amazon Music. It's great stuff from the Connells. Pick up at least the single Steadman's Wake. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you.
Dude. By
I
the way,
appreciate
I want to share with everybody, we just swapped phone numbers tonight. So I'm holding you to this. We got to stay in touch after 20 plus years.
Okay.
For God's sake.
Well, I mean, we got to come up there. I'm not kidding
Good.
about this. I talked to somebody in Brooklyn about it. And I'm like, man, we got to. I can't imagine not playing somewhere in Asbury Park. It just wouldn't be right.
We'll make sure that happens, my friend. Thank you so
Maybe
much.
Maybe the old Howard Johnsons will let me do a lounge bit.
You know, yeah, the top of McClune's, that could be an interesting place. Like I said, I know some people will talk. We'll definitely make that happen. My friend.
Please do. Yeah. We'll get
you look happy. Yeah. You look great. I'm so happy.
Thanks.
For you,
likewise. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a wrap.
Is that a basement? I want to know more about where you're at right now.
Believe it or not, that's just a green screen. That's all it is. It's just.
Oh, I thought you had like a really cool. I can't tell what it is then.
I think this is actually one of the venues from around the area. I think this is like a brewery that's got like.
I got you. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the lights and I thought you had like a. Anyway.
No,
It's a great backdrop.
It does look good. That's why I said, hey, keep it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I'll be back at it on Saturday until the next time we meet. Man. Thank you, Doug MacMillan. I'm Rob Acampora. Check out the A Game again Saturday morning.
You.
Take care.
We'll hope to see you soon.